Hello, Vengeance is back. I got another video that I wanted to make. I have a few things to turn in, so I figured I would talk while I'm doing that. Let me set my auto run path to get over here to Velia real quick. I'm going to turn in a couple of these keys from the event, and then I'm going to turn in some catalysts from doing alchemy. So, there's a lot of people that think Black Desert is pay to win. I guess it really depends on your definition of pay to win, but this subject has come up for me because of new games that I've been watching. I have seen a lot of people playing Lost Ark because it released this week, and the topics come up. People are asking if that was pay to win on all the big streamers that I've seen playing it. I don't know about that game, but in my opinion, Black Desert is pay for convenience. There are a lot of things that you can buy that do help the game, but compared to some of the other MMORPGs that I have played in the past, I don't think Black Desert is pay to win. To date myself, I started playing RPGs online probably 15 years ago. Yeah, it was around 15 years ago. And the first one I ever played was a smaller one. It was called Last Chaos, and it was more like a Korean grinder. It was very limited. Games back then were, in terms of systems. I mean, World of Warcraft was a huge one, but other ones that weren't huge name brands, like World of Warcraft, ended up not having as good as systems. Basically, you just grinded all the time. Let me turn this in real quick. What? Man, look, we got a 30 mil and a 5 mil. That's pretty good. Okay, I'll let my horse run while I finish talking about this. So in that MMORPG, it really was pay to win. They made it to a point where it was almost impossible to level up. And the higher level you got better gear, more skills. You really had an advantage with levels. They sold items in the cash shop to make leveling easier. Granted, you could buy them from other people, so I guess it was controversial whether it was pay to win or not. I mean, they didn't become true pay to win until later in the game when they started selling upgrade stones in the cash shop. Now, that was a very drastic change from one of the next ones that I played. I played for Second World by Perfect World Entertainment. That was probably one of my favorite MMOs. I mean, it was a WoW clone, but the way they had it set up, the only thing that was really pay to win in there was more pay for convenience, because you could get the items through playing. It was just time gated really, really badly, almost to the point of being impossible if you didn't spend money. Now, Black Desert is different. I truly think, in my opinion, it's not pay to win because of the way it's set up. They have the loyalty function in the cash shop, which you get so many loyalties every day, and then you can spend it. I mean, you can buy things here that you wouldn't normally see, which I may end up buying some of these for loyalty. But over time, you can actually even buy the monthly, well, what I call the monthly subscription pack through here, or at least you used to be able to. Yeah, right there. For one day, which changes things quite a bit. You know, the value packs and the Kama Silva blessings and the Old Moon blessings, those are kind of like monthly subs. It's the closest Black Desert's going to get to a monthly sub. And anyone that plays regularly knows what they are. Kind of hover over it on the screen. There's the value pack. It's Kama Silva blessing, and then there's the Old Moon. As far as like the benefits of having one, I don't pay for that stuff. I have to preface this with I have spent money, but it was only for permanent account upgrades that I bought in the past, and I will say they weren't necessary. I bought things like weight and inventory slots just because I was inconvenienced, and that's what these games do. They put system in place, they get it all working, and then they remove things to inconvenience you as an incentive to spend money. But in most of them, you really don't have to spend the money unless you're impatient. Like, I could have gotten the weight, and I could have gotten the inventory slots over time. The weight, not as much, because you can only get so many through the loyalty. So I guess the weight is a little pay to win. The other thing I bought was a hedgehog because I like to gather a lot. That is one of the only pay to win items in Black Desert that I know of. The other ones that are kind of controversial, I don't believe are really truly pay to win, because they are mostly pay for convenience. Let me exchange this real quick. Hey, look, we got a couple of contribution points out of that. That's good. I've been stacking up for that. Let me set my path, and then I'll go back to my rant about pay to win. Back to Heido. The big items that I think are controversial for the pay to win are the tent. And it allows you to repair out in the field and buy things like villa buffs, which you can do that stuff without the tent. It's not necessary, it's a convenience, because you can literally run back to town, repair, and do that stuff, and then come back. But it makes it easier to have it. So I don't consider that pay to win. It may be a necessity if you're a grinder, but it's not something that is actually required, you know. Like I said, it's just convenience. Now the hedgehog is a different story. You can't buy it through the marketplace, and it pretty much doubles your procs on gathering. That little pet, I do believe, is very pay to win, and I do have mine. He is tier 4. But let's see, where is his item quantity increase? That's what I was looking for. Now my other pets, I ended up getting through the game or buying them. I got this one through the game, that one through the game. I think I ended up getting this one through the game too. I can't remember on them. I know I got that one through the game. But the polar bear I combined with the penguin that you get through playing the game, and over time the wizard Gospreys I ended up combining to get tier 4 pets. A lot of people think, oh, you can't get tier 4 pets unless you spend money. Well, you can, it just takes longer. But that stuff being said, I'm going to move on to the costumes. Yes, if you spend a lot of money, you can buy costumes and sell them on the market and convert them to silver. But you can only do that so many times per month. So I don't consider that pay to win. I consider that pay to convenience, because somebody that isn't doing that can grind just as much silver. It may take them a lot longer to grind for silver, but they're not gated from getting silver just because they're not spending money in the cash shop. So I don't consider that pay to win. I still consider that paid for convenience. You know, the definition of pay to win has changed a lot over the years since I started playing MMORPGs. But I'm sticking to the definition of when I first started playing, and that is, if you cannot make progress or move forward in a game unless you spend money. That is pay to win. Now, if somebody is able to buy gear straight off the marketplace or their in-game cash shop, and they just are running through everybody in PvP, I would also consider that pay to win. In Black Desert, though, the only thing you're getting out of selling the costumes is raw silver. You know, a few hundred million in silver is not going to make that much of a difference. I guess if you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on costumes, it will, but I still don't consider that pay to win. The other thing that kind of hinders a lot of this pay to win stuff is the fact that the trading in Black Desert is not like other games. You can't trade a lot of items, you know, so you're pretty limited, and the market is controlled. The central market is very controlled. The prices are controlled by devs, so it makes things a little bit easier on the free-to-play player. Now back to other things. The horse that I'm riding is a tier 9 Doom horse. Getting the skills to set up for a tier 8 courser requires a lot of time and luck. If you get mount, which I have a few from that I've gotten through playing the game. They give them away all the time. Mount skill change coupons. You can change your skill. If you buy a bunch of these, it's easier to get a tier 8 courser. That might be pay to win. However, they do give away quite a bit, and if you're smart about using them and you get a little bit lucky, you're going to get a courser. And you're also not gated by the cash shop for getting a tier 8 horse known as a courser with all the right skills either. Eventually you could get lucky. It's just damn near impossible without these mount skill change coupons. So that's a little bit of an area that's kind of a gray area and could be considered pay to win by my definition. The same thing goes with the fairies. I do have a tier 4 fairy, and I do have fairly decent skills on my fairy. I managed to get lucky with feathery steps, and I just rerolled Morningstar. I would prefer to have a higher miraculous cheer and a higher fairies tier. Instead of having 3, I would prefer to have 5, but I'm scared to reroll it. And I'm not paying to reroll it. They do give away they're just like the horse, the mount skill change. They're little orbs that allow you to reroll skills on fairies. I've collected mine over the course of the months or years that I've played, and that's how I rerolled mine. But I still don't consider it hugely pay to win eventually, because you can roll fairies so easily. You can just keep rolling them until you get one. While time consuming, eventually you will get one with decent skills. So I still don't consider it pay to win. It's more like pay to be convenienced. Because it's very inconvenient for somebody to keep leveling up and rolling fairies over and over again until they get one that has the skills they want. And the probability is very low. Black Desert does a very good job of getting its hooks into you and then inconveniencing you in just the right way. Now, I am a little peeved about the weight situation, because when I first started playing, silver cost you weight, and you had to carry around gold bars just to have enough weight, which is why I ended up buying the weight to begin with, because I was inconvenienced. It wasn't that it was necessary, it was just that I got tired of having no weight and having to run back to town all the time while I was grinding. And then they changed it to where silver doesn't weigh anything. So it's just one of those deals where eventually they do change things with quality of life upgrades, and just because something is inconvenient doesn't mean it's always going to be that way. It's just they use it as an incentive to get people to spend money, which they have to because the game is pretty much free to begin with. And there's no other way to keep the lights on. And I'm okay with that. You know, you want to sell cosmetic items or items that convenience you, great, go ahead. I'm also a big believer of, I play the game. I paid $10 for it originally when it came out. I got it on sale, and I'm a big believer in supporting the businesses that I use their services. So yes, I have spent probably a few $100s in the cash shop, and no, I don't regret it. Like I said, I bought the hedgehog. I bought the tent because I like to gather and I like to repair my stuff, and it's convenient. I can drop the tent, repair, and I don't have to run back to town. By no means is it necessary. The inventory slots, I have mine maxed out, even without a value pack running. Just because, I don't know, it's an OCD thing. I guess I'm OCD, but I like having the room. I like to be able to carry crap around with me. Same with the weight limits. But there are weight limits in the loyalties shop. If I scroll down here, mine are all sold out, but you can buy 4 of these, and you can get some. There is a way to expand your inventory. I think it's like 4 at a time. Yeah. So over time, you could expand your inventory all the way. That is what I'm doing with my storage. I buy these storage things for my loyalty, especially for Heidel, and it adds storage slots. But it's a loyalty. You get 200 of them per day, plugging in, so it's not that big of a deal. The last thing that I want to circle back to and touch on are the value packs. That is basically Black Desert's monthly sub. I wanted to bring that up in the shop. Function. Where is it at? Slot expansion. I never can remember where this stuff is. Miscellaneous? Oh, and that's another thing I got. I got Marco's gear bag. Travel aid, I think. Yeah, value pack. There it is. So there's what that is. The only thing that I would really ever use that for would be the storage, maybe slots, the max weight of 200, and then the silver that comes back from the market, the 30%. The XP doesn't really, I don't really care so much about that. And the remote, being able to invest in nodes remotely, that's a convenience thing. You can always run to the node and do it, so it's not necessary. But yeah, that's all I would use that for. Now, touching on the market silver, you're taxed 30%. Value pack gives you 30% back, so it really makes it to where you're only taxed about 15.5%, because you get 30% back of what was taken away. You don't get It's not like it cancels it out. So the way it's calculated is you sell your stuff on the market, they take 30%. Whatever profits you get, 30% of that is added back on. So doing the math, it comes out to being where you end up making 84.5% of whatever it was you were selling. There are ways around this. If you're selling stuff on the market, obviously there's not really a way around it, but that is why I made tax-free guides on my channel here, just to avoid having to have a value pack. And then once or twice a month, depending on what you're using your loyalty for, you can collect all your silver using the loyalty. You can buy one for a day and collect it, and that's how I do it. If I have a bunch of crap in there in the marketplace that is sold, I just buy one of those and collect it all, and then sell everything I can and collect it all during that while that buff is active. Not to mention that Black Desert gives away these value packs like crazy. I've got a bunch of them sitting around, 7 days, and I've got a few in these boxes, I think, too. The Gamma Silva Blessings and the Old Moon ones are the one that really get to me. The Gamma Silva ones are more important because you get energy recovery. Those are the ones that I try to use very sparingly unless I'm doing a ton of gathering, because the energy recovery is very important, as well as the central market weight and the item drop. Now the Old Moon, if you're grinding a lot and you're trying to level up, it's very nice to have the extra combat and skill XP. And then if you're doing a bunch of like skill resets and stuff, the Old Moon is convenient. Not necessary by any means, but very convenient. So there are a lot of people that are free to players. They have a lot of channel on YouTube where people are doing strictly free to play. It's very possible, but all the evidence shows that Black Desert is pay for convenience, not pay to win. And that is pretty much all I have today. If you stayed this long, thanks for sharing your time with me. If you disagree, leave a like, tell me why I'm wrong. Leave a comment, explain your point of view. Let me know. I read them. And if you like the video and want to see what's coming next, I don't know, sub. It helps the channel out, and I always appreciate it. So until next time, guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye.